Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a few moments to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position on a cushion or blanket, block, so that your back is nice and long, spine is elongated, the back of your neck is elongated, your chest is open, your diaphragm open, heart is open. And gently close your eyes. Soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. So for this morning's intention, that you could think of a positive word or a phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention is silliness. So I receive a daily inspiration feed from a site called DailyOM. And this week, this topic came in that was titled Silliness. And the inspiration feed said, children appreciate all that is silly as a matter of course. Their grasp of humor is instinctual, and even the smallest absurdities provoke joyous gales of earnest laughter. As we age, this innate ability to see the value of silliness can diminish. We can take this nourishment once again by giving ourselves permission to lighten up and be silly. It is precisely because so much of life is inescapably serious that silliness should be regarded as a priority. Those of you who have young grandchildren or even for babies, know how enjoyable their silliness is. I mean, it's just nothing like it. So to that, I thought of someone who I used to work with tell me about a type of yoga that she used to do when she worked at the Washington County Mental Health. And it was called and is called laughter yoga. And this is a real thing. It's in Sanskrit, it's called Hasya yoga. And it was developed in 1995 by Dr. Katari in India. But it's now evidently globally, there's chapters all over the world. And there's health benefits to this laughter yoga. As you can imagine, it strengthens the immune system. It increases circulation and blood flow. It increases your happy hormones, which are dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. and it decreases the stress hormone, which is cortisol, and there's others. And there's a breathing aspect to it that's kind of like Kalabati, which is very energizing, uplifting breath. So the traditional way of doing laughter yoga is 4 steps, but I've, for today, consolidated it down to 3 steps. So the first step, you just be silly, get your silly on, and work with me on this, is clapping. And the way you clap is you bring your hands fully together so that all your finger pads and skin from one hand is pressed against the other, kind of acupressure of the meridian system. So we're going to start clapping. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And you're bringing your hands fully together. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So again, that acts like a, you know, the acupuncture with they find the meridians and they stick the pins in, and there's acupressure, same idea. It touches against the meridians, and that's what that clapping does. And then the next step is breathing. So on the inhale, we're going to lift our arms up, which innately lifts our spirits up, just lifts our whole body and our spirit up. And then on the exhale, this is where it gets really silly, is we're going to start laughing. And I wish we could all be together because laughter is so infectious. I remember watching Carol Burnett shows and how they would crack up during the scene and just start giggling, and you couldn't help but laughing. So it is a contagious thing. So inhale, lifting your spirits up, and then exhale. And I hope you're laughing along. So inhale, exhale, laughter. Inhale again. And exhale. And you can get into it. So then we're going to put it all together. And so this is kind of reminiscent of childhood playfulness. So we're going to clap. Very good. Very good. Inhale, raising our hands up, go yay. And then exhale with the laughter. Very good. Very good. Yay. Very good. Very good. Yay. Very good. Very good. Yay. Oh, and I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. So again, that's a real thing, laughter yoga. So I'm going to go to our mat and we'll start our asana practice. We'll incorporate some of that laughter into our practice. And I really, really hope you all just embrace getting your silly on today in any way that works for you. Smiling, laughing, it's all great. So let's start with the sun breaths, and we're going to continue on with that. Not so much the laughter part, but let's exhale, clap our hands twice. Exhale, exhale, inhale, lift our arms up, and then keep that inhale going and twinkle our fingers down to the mat. So exhale, exhale, inhale, lift your arms up and twinkle your hands down to the mat. A variation on our sun breaths. Inhale, inhale, or exhale, 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 Inhale, all the way up and twinkle your hands down. Exhale, exhale, inhale. And one last time, twinkling your fingers down. We're going to do seated side stretches. So if you have a block, might using this block a couple times today. So this is one variation of a seated side stretch. You put one arm up. Let's put our left arm up and rest our right forearm on the block and do our nice crescent stretch over. Or if you want a little bit more stretch, you can put your fingertips on the mat, arm up, if you don't have a block either, and just bend your elbow toward the mat. And send our stretch over to the right. Inhale, come back up. Switch hands. So the fingertips, left fingertips are on the mat, right arm goes up. Bending the left elbow, bringing it down toward the mat, not necessarily on the mat, but if you're on the block, your forearm will be resting on the block. And then inhale, come back up. One more time to the right. So your left arm goes up, right fingertips, and then the right elbow bends toward the mat, giving us a nice side stretch to the right, really elongating the left rib cage. And then come back up. And one last time on the other side. So right hand goes up, left hand on the mat, left elbow comes down toward the mat for a nice side stretch. And then come back up. Then we're going to interlace our fingers behind our back. So our hands are down by our hips, down by the end of our tailbone. And then we're going to inhale and stretch them out away from our tailbone. To me, I'm stretching them toward the wall. And then exhale, bring the interlaced fingers over to the right hip. Inhale, stretch back. Exhale, over to the left hip. Inhale, stretch back. Exhale, over to the right hip. Inhale, stretch back. Exhale, over to the left hip. Inhale, stretch back. Exhale, over to the right hip. Inhale, stretch back, and one last time over to the left hip. And then we're going to roll down on the mat. So let's slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. Bringing our knees to our chest and giving them a nice hug. And bring your, keep your hands interlaced around your right knee and bring your left foot down to the mat so that your foot's planted on the mat, left knees pointing up toward the ceiling. And we're going to stretch our right leg. So we're first give it a hug. And then exhale. And then inhale, we're going to point the foot up to the ceiling, and you can support it by interlacing your fingers behind your right thigh. Exhale, bring your knee back to your chest. Inhale, lift your foot back up to the sky, straight as you possibly can. It feels comfortable, supporting it with your interlaced fingers. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, foot to sky. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, foot to sky. Oops, I did that opposite. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, foot to sky. Exhale, knee to chest. And one last time. Inhale, foot to sky. And then we'll switch legs. So bringing your right foot so it's planted on the mat. And then tuck your left knee up toward your chest, interlacing your fingers, give it a nice little hug. So exhale, give it a hug. Inhale, raise the foot up to the sky and interlace behind your thigh to support it. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, foot to sky. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, foot to sky. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, foot to sky. And one last time, knee to chest. And then foot to sky. And then bring the left foot down to the mat. So both feet are planted on the mat now, and your legs are about hip width apart. We'll take our hands and have them alongside us with palms facing down toward the mat. We'll do a few supine cat cows here. So we're just going to tilt our pelvis up, keeping our lower back on the mat, creating a bowl within our tummy. And then exhale, just kind of gently arch your back so there's just a tiny bit of space between your back. So inhale, and then we're going to, on the inhale, bring our arms back overhead. So we're going to raise our hands up over our head, and then exhale, bringing them back. Inhale, tilt the pelvis up, the tailbone up, and bring our arms up overhead. Yay! And then exhale, tilt the pelvis down and bring your hands back down alongside. Inhale, tilt the pelvis up. We're going into a cat, bringing our hands up overhead. Yay! And then exhale, tilt the pelvis down as we bring our hands down alongside of us. And that's the cow. Inhale, cat, arms overhead. Exhale, cow, arms alongside. Inhale, cat, arms overhead. Exhale, cow, arms alongside. And one last time, inhale, cat, arms overhead. Yay! Exhale, cow, arms alongside. Then we're going to bring our knees to our chest, and we're going to do a few rolls. And we're going to end up in a seated position. But if you want, engage. I'm going to give you some time to engage in just playful rolling. Just roll back and forth. Have a good time of it. Just really feel the silliness in this move. And then we'll meet you all up in a seated position. There we go. And then come up into your tabletop position. So hands on your hands and knees. And we'll do cats and cows here, our regular version of cats and cows. So, excuse me, your wrist is below your shoulders, and you're checking to make sure your weight is evenly distributed in your hands, and that your hands, you're pushing down slightly so that you're creating the space between your ears and your shoulders. Navel's tucked to the spine, creating a nice flat back. Knees are right below your hips. So we're going to exhale, rounding our back for cat. Inhale, sending our gaze up, our tailbone up for cow. Exhale, rounding our back for cat. Inhale for cow. And just go at your own pace for a few moments. Deeply breathing in and out. synchronizing your breath with this movement. And then come back to neutral back to tabletop. Bring both knees together underneath your hips. Again, just double check to have your weight evenly distributed in your hands. And I'm going to send our right leg up at hip height. I'm going to keep both hands on the mat for this. And we're going to bend our knee, bringing our heel toward our hips. So exhale, pointing the toes out, down the mat. Inhale, kicking our heel back toward our hips. Exhale, point. Inhale, flex our foot so that it's kicking back toward our hips. Exhale, point. Inhale, heel to hip. Exhale, point. Inhale, heel to hip. Exhale, point. Inhale, heel to hip. Exhale, point. And one last time, inhale, heel to hip. And bring that leg down. We'll do that on the other side. And as you go along, just be conscious of your hip bones being parallel to the mat, that you don't start to twist out of the pose, keeping your hips parallel. So lift your left leg up, straight back, and then exhale, pointing the toes to the mat. Inhale, heel comes toward the hip. Exhale, point. Inhale, kick, back. Exhale, point. Inhale, heel to hip. 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 And then bring that leg down. So we're in tabletop, and we're going to go into hero's pose. So again, if you have a block handy, you can set that underneath your tailbone there, and have your your legs out. If you don't have a block, you may want to use a blanket, or you can even use your legs. So you bring your knees together and sit back on your heels. And we're going to take our fingertips and touch our toe tips, the tips of our toes, as we lean back. So your fingertips are touching the tips of your toes. And then we're going to roll our shoulders back and open our chest and arch our back. If you want a little bit more bend in it, you can actually try to send your hips up toward the sky, or anywhere in between. And just feel that stretch in the upper thighs. We'll be stretching those out a little bit more as we go along. And then come back to tabletop. Tuck your toes under and walk your hands back, and we'll come into the squat and push down, come up into mountain. So our toes are pointed to the straight edge of your mat. We lift our toes up and spread them out. Bring them back down to the mat. Lift our heels up and bring that back down to the mat. And really feel that connection to your mat, to the earth. Feel grounded. So for mountain essentials for good posture, our legs are nice and straight with a soft, gentle bend in our knees. Navel's tucked to the spine. Your spine is nice and long and straight. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Crown of your head is reaching up toward the sky. And we'll take a deep inhale, sweep our hands up overhead. And exhale, bring them down to the mat, bending our knees generously. And then just check in here for a moment and send any tension that you may feel. Some nourishing breaths. And inhale, bring our hands to our shins, flatten out our back, sending our gaze down for half forward fold. And then exhale, sending the crown of our head down toward the mat for forward fold. And with a soft, gentle bend in your knees, sweep your hands from the floor all the way up overhead and then come up onto your toes and get your silly on. You can do the palm tree, but you can flail your arms, be as silly as you possibly be in this pose. Really test your balance. Yay! And bring your heels back down. Send your hands back down to the mat for forward fold. Inhales, bring our hands up to our shins, flattening out the back, opening the chest, opening the heart. And exhale, send the crown of the head down toward the mat. Then inhale, sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Touch all those meridian points. And then bring your hands to heart center. We're going to lift our right leg up. So get stable in your left leg. We're going to lift our right leg up and have it at a right angle. And then we're just going to kick our toe out to the front. And with that, kick with control. So you're not just flailing unless you feel that's silly and you want to do that, but try to kick with control. So moving in and out. And then bring that leg down. We'll do that on the other side. So really feel connected to the earth with your right leg, nice and straight and stable. Lifting up your left leg, keeping your hips neutral so that they're not tipped or tilted in any one direction. And then again, kick your toes out with control. And one last one, bring that back down, sweeping our hands up overhead. Big inhale, yay! Exhale, bending your knees, bringing your hands down to the mat. Inhale, half forward fold, flattening out the back, opening the chest. Exhale, bring the crown of your head down toward the mat. And then inhale, sweeping our hands from the mat all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to your heart center. And we're going to do the same thing with a variation. So lift. We started with your right leg grounded. So lift your left leg up. I think we did it the other way. Doesn't matter. So we're going to take our hands and interlace them around our knee. And just try to feel stable here. You get your stable feel going, and then we're going to walk our hands down to our ankle, bending our knee, and then flipping our knee down so it's pointing down toward the floor. So to help feel stable, bring your right hand to your heart center as if you were posing with Anjali Mudra, but only half of that. That'll help you stabilize. Good, good, good. And then we'll try that on the other side. So again, feel stable and you get that stability in your left leg. Bring your right leg up. Again, try not to tilt out your hips, hip bones. Have them remain neutral and straight. Wrap your hands around your knee and feel that stability. And then when you feel that you're stable, walk your hands down to your ankle and then grab onto your foot, flipping your knee down toward the floor. And again, you can bring your left hand to heart center, create some stability there. And you feel the stretch in your thighs there. And then bring that down, foot down. So inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead again. Big inhale, yay. Exhale, bring our hands down to the mat. Inhale, bring your hands to your shins, flattening your back for half forward fold. And then exhale, crown of your head comes down toward the mat for forward fold. Inhale, sweep your hands from the floor all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll take our fingertips and place them on the back of our hips for supported back bend. So your feet are hip width apart. Fingertips are on the back of your hips, pointing down. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked toward your chest. And just let your shoulders drop back. And remember to continue breathing. Inhale, come back up. How's everyone doing? Okay, let's just shake it out for a minute. Be silly in our shakeout. And then come back to mountain pose. Feet are hip width apart. Navel's tucked to the spine. We're going to lift our arms out in front of us. Yay! And they're actually coming out straight in front of us. Yay! And we're going to come down, bending our knees, dropping our hips down toward our ankles, and come into chair pose. Yay! Then exhale, bring our hands down to the mat for forward fold. Extend our right leg to the back of the mat for runner's lunge. left knee is over your left ankle. Right foot is pushing to the back of the mat. And then we drop our right knee down to the mat. And lift our arms up toward the sky. Yay! And then bring them back down toward the mat. Now we'll do a few half monkeys here. So we're going to straighten out our front leg. And we can ride that front leg with our ribs on the thigh, sending our head down toward the knee. And inhale, come back up to low lunge. And actually send your chest up and out. And then back, straightening out our left leg. Coming into half monkey. Head down toward our knee. And inhale. Coming back to low lunge, and then extend it just a tad further, opening up our chest. And one last time to half monkey, straightening out our left leg. Riding our thigh down, bringing our head toward our knee. And then inhale, send our knee back to the front and opening up our chest. Then we're going to come back to low lunge, tuck our toe underneath, our right toe underneath, coming up to runner's lunge. With our right hand planted on the mat, we're going to send our left hand up to the sky for runner's lunge with a twist. And then bring that left hand back down to the mat. Send our left foot to the back, coming into plank. Wrists are right below our shoulders. Heels are pushed to the back. Navel's tucked to the spine, elevating your hips slightly. And then come down to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to your side. Chaturanga, you push off with your toes. And then gently lower. Slide your hands out to the front, come into Sphinx. So Sphinx is your elbows are right below your shoulders. Fingertips are pointing to the edge of the mat. Chest is open, heart is open. Tops of your feet are well connected with the mat. Now, I usually have a joke in this pose. So I do. Why did the scarecrow win an award? Why did the scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. So where we are in Sphinx, I'd like you to bring your left fingers over to your right elbow. So you're pivoting on your left elbow and you're creating like a figure 4 with your arms. And we're going to bring our right heel back toward our hip and send it down. And then we're going to bring our left heel to our hip and send that back down. So this pose reminded me of when I was a kid, and I used to love to color, and I should still color because I know a lot of adults find enjoyment in that. But this was the position I'd be in most often, with my feet flailing. So if you'd like to just kind of take a moment and kind of work your legs, kicking them back and forth. Pretend you're coloring the color book. And then bring both legs back down to the mat, coming back into Sphinx. Back into this pose with your arms still, your fingertips still on your right arm. And then we're going to take, if this is available to you, we're going to take our right hand and reach it back as we bend our right leg and grab on to our right toes. So this is called half frog. So you have your tips of your toes, your elbows up toward the sky. If not, you can just continue to flail your feet. And then we'll bring our feet back down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Elbows are tucked to your ribs. Gently push down, coming into cobra. And then continue to push into tabletop, and then down to child's pose. Then inhale, come back up to tabletop and tuck our toes under and send our hips up to the sky, coming into downward dog. So this pose is a resting pose, but we can envision being silly, kind of running around, walking our dog in the yard. Make it your own. We'll take 5 deep breaths here. So inhale, 1. Inhale, 2. Inhale, 3. Inhale, 4. And inhale, 5. Then walk your hands back toward your feet, coming into a forward fold. Knees are bent. Sweep your hands from the mat all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll shake it out again. So give it your best shake. Woo. And then come back to mountain pose. Feet hip width apart. We're going to send our arms out in front of us and up toward the sky. Yay! Send our hips down toward our ankles, bending our knees into chair pose. Maybe not so yay. And then send our hands down to the mat for forward fold. Extend our left foot to the back of the mat, coming into runner's lunge. So your right knee's right above your right ankle. Left leg's pushing back with your heel pushing into the back of the mat. A lot of action going on in your legs. And then bring your left leg down to the mat. Left top of the foot can come down the mat too. And then sweep your hands up to the sky. Yay! Bring them back down to the mat. And we'll do a few half monkeys here. So straighten out your right leg, riding it down on your ribs, bringing your head down toward the knee. And then inhale, slowly move it back up and push up with your heart and opening up your chest. And then inhale, Coming back down to half monkey. Probably exhaling would be better. Then inhale, coming back up into a low lunge, and then continue a little further to open up your chest and heart. Exhale, back to half monkey. Straightening your leg, bringing your head down toward the knee. And inhale, coming back up to low lunge. Extending a little bit further, opening your heart. And then come back to low lunge. Tuck your left toe, your back toes under, and come back up to runner's lunge. Keep your left hand placed on the mat while you sweep your right hand from the mat all the way up overhead. Sending your gaze up to your hand if that's comfortable. And then bring your right hand back down. We send our right foot back to meet the left foot, coming into plank pose. And then slowly lower to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. We'll meet you down there. Slide your hands to the front of the mat, coming into Sphinx position. And your elbows are right below your shoulders. Chest is proudly positioned outward. Tops of your feet connected with the mat. My next joke. Did you hear about the guy who invented the knock knock joke? Did you hear about the guy who invented the knock knock joke? He won the Nobel Prize. So we're going to take our right hand and move it, pivoting on our right elbow, bringing it over so it's resting on our left elbow. So the right fingertips are resting right at the crease of our left elbow. Raise our left heel and bring it back toward your hips. And you can send that back down. And you can bring your right heel, send it to the hips, and bring that back down. And you can just do this again, like we used to do when we're coloring, and back and forth. And you can continue doing this, or you can come into the half frog. So bringing your left heel back toward your left hip, reach your left hand around, grabbing onto your left foot, and sending your elbow up to the sky, and just put ever so slightly bit of pressure on your foot. Try to bring your heel closer to your hip. And then release. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Elbows are tucked toward your ribs. Gently push down, lifting up, coming into cobra. And then continue the gentle push into tabletop, and then down into child's pose. Inhale, come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under, lifting your hips up to the sky, come into downward dog. So again, pedal out, take your dog for a walk around the block. Hips are up toward the sky, bringing your chest toward your thighs. Nice deep stretch here. We'll do 5 counts of breaths. So inhale to 1. Inhale to 2. And you are exhaling in between, I hope. Inhale to 3. Inhale to 4. Inhale to 5. And walk your hands down the mat toward your feet, coming into forward fold. And with the bend in your knees, sweeping your hands up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll just shake it all out there. So we're going to do tree and we're going to do dancer pose. So many of you may want to just be okay with tree, and maybe some of you like to give dancer pose a shot. So we're going to start. Let's start with our left leg being the leg connected to the earth. We're going to bring our right knee up, grab on to our knee with our interlaced fingers, and just stay here till you feel some stability. And then with tree, you can bring your toes back to the mat, heel connected to your ankle, or you may want to have your flat of your foot connected to your shin or calf, or give this a try. Again, get your silly on, so any part of the pose is doing the pose. And then bringing your arms up overhead. Yay! We did it. And twinkle your fingers down. So if you're game, you want to try dancer pose. Probably I'm going to go to the side so you can see a little bit better. So again, we're going to bring our knee up, interlace our fingers, find our stability here. And then we're going to walk our hands down our leg, to our foot, bringing our hands to the inner part of our foot, bringing our left hand up to heart center. So you're doing half of Anjali Mudra. And then send that left hand out and up as you kick back, kick into your right hand, and send your right foot back and up. Can't concentrate and do this at the same time and talk at the same time. All right. I'm getting my silly on, so I'm very okay with this. This is not a serious pose today. So we're going to dance, dancing with the wind. There, yay! We'll do that on the other side. So we're going to start with tree. Again, Find your stability in your right leg, connecting with the mat. Interlace your fingers around your left knee. Find the stability there. You feel your spine nice and long and straight, shoulders rolled back, navel tucked to the spine, all the fundamentals of mountain pose. And then you can bring your toe to ankle, toe to calf, or foot to calf, or foot up to thigh, into tree pose. And send your arms up, yay! And twinkle your fingers down. Alrighty, and let's try dancer pose if you want. So we're going to work again with the right leg. My spine's nice and tall, straight and tall. I'm going to bring my knee up, interlacing my fingers. Find my stability. All the essentials of mountain pose. And then walk my hands down to my foot. And bring the, I'm lucky I have a wall here, sorry. I can sweep my hand around my foot so that it's on the inner part of my foot. Bring my right hand to my heart center. Again, find my stability. And concentration. And then send my right hand out as I send my left leg out, pushing my left toes into my left hand. And there you have it. So let's come back to mountain pose where we're, our toes are coming to the edges of the mat. Heels are tucked in 45 degrees. Hands come to heart center. And we'll lower our hips down to the mat for wide-legged squat. And then we'll bring our seat down to the mat. And we'll roll back. Let's do the express method where we tuck our hands underneath our knees, roll back, bringing our knees to our chest, give our knees a nice hug, rock back and forth, giving our lower back a massage. Maybe make some circles with our toes. And come back to center. Send our arms out, form a T from our shoulders. And then with the exhale, we're going to lower our knees to the right side of the mat for reclined twist. And send our gaze over to our left fingertips. And inhale, lifting our head, or rolling our head back to center. Inhale, lifting our legs back to center. And then exhale, lower our legs to the left side. And gently turn our head to the right to look at our right fingertips. And slowly inhale, roll your head back to center. Inhale, lift your legs back to center and extend your feet to the end of the mat, preparing for Shavasana. Send your heels out to the corners of the mat. Let your feet flop open. And just do a body scan from your feet on up, with each joint just relaxing that joint along the way. Arms are out at a diagonal from your body, palms facing up. Just relax every muscle, every bone into the mat. Let the mat support you. Let the earth support you. Let the universe support you.